All right. With those words, CL Brown, go ahead.
Roy, is there anybody comparable who you feel like you guys have played in terms of the experience that Wisconsin is gonna, have in their lineup? Do they compare favorably to anybody this year?
Oh gosh, yeah, I don't necessarily think in those terms very often, but Iowa was a very experienced team. Of course, Florida State's a very experienced team, but like I say, I hadn't thought of it in those terms. I know a little bit about their players. I've watched 2 games, but that's all I can tell you. I would pick those 2 teams, and there may be somebody else out there staring me right in the face. It's Notre Dame to a little extent, but that's about it.
Greg Barnes.
Hey, Roy, over the last 6 games, your team is holding its opponents to 40% shooting and forcing 15 turnovers against pretty good offensive competition. Just curious if those statistical improvements match your eye test.
Not really, but I do think we've gotten better defensively, and I still think that we can get a heck of a lot better. Most of practice today is trying to focus on the defensive end of the floor. As a coach, you always look at your liabilities and try to work on those. It's like if you're a golfer and you can't putt a lick, but you can drive it like crazy, you better start learning how to dang putt if you want to beat anybody. So we work on trying to not turn it over and work on trying to make shots and trying to make sure that we guard the 3-point line. And I'd say those are the 3 things that we
the
work on
coach should
better.
have.
Greg, can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead, Coach.
I just heard somebody talking. I didn't know if I was still on. But those are the things, Greg, that we work on the most. I do think we've gotten a little bit better in every phase of the game. And I think we've gotten a little bit better defensively. But again, those other categories to talk about are the ones that have been the difference makers in the games.
Thank you.
You're muted, Steve.
I'm sorry. Please mute yourself and go ahead and raise your hand if you have a question. Jared Fialco, go ahead.
Roy, I know the goal doesn't change, try to win 2 games in 1 weekend, but seeing as how you show up to the team hotel without a grand arrival, you don't have that open practice in front of fans where you like to put on the slam dunk show with everybody. I'm just wondering what you think March Madness is without some of that normal pomp and circumstance.
Well, none of my guys are so young, they don't realize what the heck happened in the years past. Those 7 guys don't. But no, I think it's missing something. There's no question. I think that the 2 games that we enjoyed in the Smith Center the most were the games we had those 3,000 fans there. The pageantry, the things that our teams have done in the past during the NCAA tournament. When we go back after that first round, they talk about those kind of things. And if we're lucky enough to win and come back and go back after that second weekend, they talk about those things. And man, we're going to the Final Four, or how much fun this was. And I used to tell them all the time, this is the most fun you're going to ever have in your basketball career, is if you're successful making a run and you get to that final stage and win the national championship, because every week it just gets better. Now you guys can't see this, but we're sitting in a room with about 10 tables, and it's closed up, and we haven't seen any pomp or circumstance or anything whatsoever yet. So I don't think we will, but I hope that when this basketball season's over, that I will never state again the rest of my life, it's what it is, because I've said that for the last 13 months, and I'm not even going to characterize it with adjectives or adverbs, either one.
Thank you, Roy.
JB Ricks.
Morning, Coach. Thanks for taking out this time. I just wanted to ask you about the bracket that you guys are in and the position that you were given with the 8 seed. I know you don't like to look past 1 game at a time. I know that's how it goes. But at the same time, do you see an opportunity within this bracket where your team can really get into a groove and make a run deep to the Final Four?
Excuse me, JB. I think so. It's what we've talked to the teams about. I believe it in my heart and soul. but we never talk about anything down the road except, guys, come on, if we want to stay here, we got to play. And I say that old saying I made up, it's a Roy and original there. It means it's not very good. But if you are continually looking down the road, that's where you're going, down the road back home. You got to take care of your business today. And so we have not said anything other than, guys, this is a fantastic time. You can have so much fun here. But we've talked about Wisconsin. And we really haven't even talked about Wisconsin yet, because we've been here. We were quarantine, isolation, the first 24 hours, didn't get out until last night, right before we went to practice. And so we focused on Wisconsin has been it. But if you play well, maybe they'll let you stay around and play another one. And if you play well that game, maybe they'll let you stay around and play another one. And that's the way we've always tried to look at it. We did break it down in the past to, hey guys, let's play two games here and then get to go back home and recharge. Let's play 2 games here and get to go. Well, we're not doing that now. But other than that, we really have just focused on that very next game.
Josh Graham.
Given the way that Wisconsin likes to play, and given the turnover issues you've had many times this year, how concerned are you about a low possession game?
Oh, like I have been at every game when we're getting ready to play somebody that likes to play slower than we do. That even at practice yesterday, we had a turnover early in practice that was just careless. I said, guys, come on. This is not going to be a 90 or 100 possession game. And we can't do those kind of things. And it's mystifying to me that we haven't made as many significant strides in that part of the game as I think we should have. But yeah, it's more damaging, those turnovers, when it's a low possession game. So we talked about it yesterday, but we've talked about it all year with them too.
Thank you.
Adam Smith.
Roy, you're talking about it a little bit there, but I don't know, as you started to study Wisconsin, do they compare to anybody? How closely do they compare to Virginia? I mean, I feel like maybe that would be the easy one just for tempo, but like, do they look like anybody you've played this year as you started to study them?
Coach, he missed the first answer you gave, so you might have to repeat that. Coach, go ahead. I'm sorry. That was the question you got first, so go ahead.
He's frozen.
I think he's frozen. He mentioned that he lost his connection when he first.
Yeah, they lost the connection early, so let's just wait till they get back. Thank you. Adam, he answered that earlier.
Okay.
Compare sort of close to Iowa.
My bad. Sorry about that.
No problem. Adam, I'm going to come back to you again. Luke DeCock.
Hey, Roy, I want to follow up on Greg's question a little bit. In terms of numbers, this is the best defensive team that you've had in a decade. And I think we would all agree it doesn't feel like that at times. But when you take the season as a whole, it really actually, statistically speaking, has been a strength. Can you reconcile that with kind of the work you've had to do with this team to get it to this point?
Well, it's like Greg and you both, Luke, you tell me those kind of things, and I think we're one of the worst defensive teams I've ever coached in my life. And so that part is funny, but peculiar. It's not funny, I can assure you. We have worked awfully hard, but let's think a little bit again about numbers. Okay, we're bigger, so we don't give up as many easy shots around the rim. Okay, so that takes people's field goal percentage down. We rebound it better, so they don't get as many opportunities to even get that second shot. I've said for a million years, guys, that the most significant thing in the game statistically is rebounding. You get the ball and I get the ball. You get the ball and I get the ball. The only way to break that cycle is for me to get an offensive rebound, which gives me another possession. And if we can stop you from getting that, then we're way ahead in the game. So I can't explain those numbers other than that we are defending around the rim better because of our size. Perhaps everybody's still falling in love with taking a three-point shot every time down the court, and we've backed the line up. And I think the shooting percentages around the country over the last 2 years, and I think it was only backed up 15 inches or something. But that makes a difference. But it is mystifying to me because we're not taking teams out of their offense. They're running their offense the way they want to do it. We're not making teams turn the ball over. And so for us, those are the most important things defensively, because we try to make sure that you don't get to run what you practice every day during the game. And we want to take your ball away and go on the offensive end of the floor. And we haven't done that as well. And we haven't defended the three as well. And yet shooting percentages are down, I think, but I don't look at all those things. I watch the tape and see the pictures in my mind, but it is a little mystifying to me because, I'm so pleased when my 5 guys in a white shirt are guarding some 5 guys in a blue shirt, that they're not guarding each other. So we're still in the first grade as far as I'm concerned. I'm looking up one time and I think one of my guys is guarding another one of my guys.
Adam Smith.
Hey, Roy, sorry about that before. I didn't realize you had already gotten into that. You were talking toward the end of the season, the regular season, about, how some of your players, your freshmen, didn't get to experience the things what it is like to go to Carolina and stuff, just kind of having to stay in the room and go to practice, stay in the room. Are they asking you there in Indy what are they asking you to do differently than what you have been doing in Chapel Hill? And like, as far as quarantining, and how about for you personally? You're a guy who likes to get out and walk around those cities when you play in those tournaments. What is that whole thing like for you?
Well, guys, we got here about 5 o'clock and we went straight to our rooms, 5 o'clock, I guess, on Monday night. And we couldn't come out of our room. They were putting food down outside of our door. We didn't come out of our room till like getting ready for a 6:30 departure for practice yesterday. And so, no, we haven't done anything differently. We haven't seen any pomp and circumstance. We haven't seen anything. And today was the first day we came down and had our own private meal room. The only thing we've been doing is staying in our room and swabbing our nose every 6 hours is what it feels like. And so it is, it's been difficult, guys. It hasn't been nearly as much fun. And I love the competition. So I live for the games, but the other stuff. And this morning's the first time. Yesterday when we went to practice, they give us 45 minutes in a weight facility that they've made. And so our guys are in there. So I walked around in the convention center for 45 minutes. And then we went into practice and then we came back. But this morning, they made it available for us from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. to go to the minor league baseball park. What is it called? Victory Field? Victory Field, where the Indianapolis, I think they said the Pirates farm system place. So we walked around on the warning track to a home plate, just circled the place. And that's really the only time that we've been out. Now today, we're going to have a tremendous luxury today. It'll be a wonderful experience. We're getting on a daggum bus and driving an hour and 15 minutes to West Lafayette to go down and go in and practice at Mackey Arena. I didn't realize West Lafayette was even a site. I thought we were all staying here in Indianapolis. So today, the monotony is really going to be broken up. We're going to have 2.5 hours on the bus. So it hasn't exactly been Maui.
Got time for 2 or 3 more questions. Brendan Marks, then Stephen Wina.
Hey, Coach, I wanted to ask you, you had mentioned after the Florida State game, and also I believe after the Virginia Tech one last week, that teams seem to be closing out harder on Kerwin, making it harder for him to get to some of those shots. Adjustment-wise, what do you have to do? What do the guys have to do to try and work around that? And just how important is it almost to force feed him once you guys keep going here?
Well, he's been by far the most consistent outside shooter for us. We need him to get shots. He doesn't look for a shot nearly as much as I would like for him to, and other guys look for their shots a heck of a lot more. It's that's the hard one for me to figure out, but they are closing out harder on him. But it's easier to do that, guys. You've heard me talk about years and years and years. If you've got 5 scores, it's hard to guard. If you've got 1, that's pretty easy. Well, we got 1 guy that they're worried about from the 3-point line, and they close out on him. And we've got to look for him more. We've got to screen for him more. He's got to move better. As he gets older and more experienced, he'll be able to do that better. But it's like I've always said, you need balance. But If you tell me we got to stop one guy, that doesn't usually bother me a lot. And I've had guys score 47, 46, 48, 43, 45. I think I've had at least in my lifetime, which is a career, I say, as a basketball coach, either 5 or 6 times where somebody on the other team's gotten 45 or more. And I think we won every daggum game, so it's that's our problem, is we don't have people consistently making any outside shots with the exception of Kerwin.
Steven with the AP, and then Davis Wallace. Last question with Coach.
Hey, Roy, wacky question for you. We all know that the One Shining Moment song. I'm curious, what was it like kind of watching those highlights, the one shining moment after you won a championship? And have you used it at all as a recruiting or a motivational tool for your players?
We haven't used it this year. I think we used it in the past sometimes, maybe early in the season, just to get enthused about what our goals are. But I don't think we've done that every year, but I do think we use it once we get to the Final Four. It is as a coach, it's the most significant, as a college coach, it's the most significant moment you can have. You're standing up on that stage and they're playing One Shining Moment. Now, when we get back to school, we make up our own version of One Shining Moment. We're in all the plays. Nobody else is in it. It's just our own significant version. And that's one of the few good thoughts I had. And we did it after we won it in 05. And so we did it again in 9 and 17. But that's
All right, so Coach froze, so we're going to finish with Coach. We'll let him go. And as Eric reloads again, there's no Ethernet line there, guys. They're doing this off Wi-Fi. So